Remember the show Reno 911? I was at Carson Gate when they filmed it, and one day they were in the parking lot, but nobody had ever told them, if there's an emergency, get out of the way, stop what you're doing. You know what happens next? The whole world's rolling. The black gentleman that's on that show, he's standing there thinking, what the hell's going on? You know, the gate's open and he goes flying by. It's like, whoa, and then whoa. They almost hit him.
Welcome to the Proper Scoundrel Show.
Dan Leicht coming back. Thanks for being back, man.
Anytime. It's the only time I get to see you. You're so darn busy, I got to pull you out from under this table. And
well, you live here, so I might as well put you to work. So what have you been up to, man? You settling into retirement? You starting to miss it?
No, I don't miss it at all. I miss some of the stuff we did, but I don't miss the department at all.
No?
I don't miss that.
Getting up early, driving across the world.
Yeah. And
getting called in middle of the night.
Yeah, that I don't miss at all. The Mr. Fix-It stuff, and most of that was, well, what'd you do that for? Because now I have to fix it.
For the kids trying to get into law enforcement, the hardest part of the job to me was schedule. Yeah. Once you get into law enforcement, we start in the jails, going to patrol. Your schedule is just...
It's not your own.
There is no such thing as a
years.
fixed schedule. You will work. I mean, now there's some schedule we go A+, but you end up working overtime different places.
Yeah, they really get there. They take it out on you. They do. They really. Even though we went to the gang unit, and it's a set schedule, but it's a great schedule. But depending on what happens in the street, it's going to dictate whether you go home.
I say this because I'm getting comments or people are reaching out with DMs asking me about, I'm not even asking, but telling me that they're giving these videos out to their relatives that are getting into law enforcement. Mm-hmm. They're using them like training, and I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, it's funny. You get these guys, like I've been asked before, so I want to be a detective. Oh, well, that's kind of like learning to run before you walk. You can't just go be a detective. You have to... you got to get on whatever department you're going to get on, and it takes a while to get there, especially where we were at the end. That's not a easy walk for any of the people that you've had in here. It's not a quit. That everybody that you've had in here, even especially most recently, that you don't just make it to homicide. It doesn't happen like that. It's very, very selective. I think the best thing they could do is watch a show like yours or somebody like it so they get at least an idea of what to expect when you get in it. But yeah, it wasn't, nobody understands it when you tell them, oh, I didn't get to do any of that. Well, I'm taking my day. You're taking what off? You just got hired. Yeah. But that's okay. They don't care. Yeah. Wow. Jeez.
Well, there's paths. There's guys that take frontline path, staying in the front lines. There's guys that go to admin. There's guys that promote, which is promoting to me. Mm-hmm. There's paths. Or you can just stay where you're at and chill and make a lot of money on overtime because you can become rich just doing overtime.
We could have just stayed in custody. Well, we would have had to gone out and then come back, and then you would have had a set schedule. Mm-hmm. Or even if you worked courts, you would have had a more set schedule.
Yeah.
But
the kids now are getting out of the academy, going to the jails, and making over $100,000, $200,000 just because of overtime.
Overtime, yep. Because they're down what? Last I heard they were like at 7,300, if that.
But just think of that. You work, let's say you worked at UPS, and then now you're working for the Sheriff's Department. And you're just, the harder or the more you work, the more money you get.
Exactly.
And these guys get a taste of that. And they become what we call overtime whores.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The milkman.
And then when they go to patrol, they keep going because now they got bills and they got toys. I see a lot of that. But
remember, we were always told, don't ever get used to that because it could go away tomorrow.
But it was obvious because you would go to the jails. We started in jails, and then everybody has to go to patrol when we were there. And as soon as the guys started going to patrol, they realized overtime's over. Mm-hmm. And you would go to the board, and it was jet skis, boats, RVs, houses in Havasu. Everybody's trying to sell all this stuff because now they know they're not going to be able to afford it without the overtime.
Yeah, exactly.
Even with the Step 6, you just don't get that massive amount of overtime in the jails.
And
like you do in the jails.
Exactly. And overtime in patrol kicks your ass. Mm-mm. That's a double in a car. Oh man, that beats your ass.
If you think that's going to be the same, sitting in a module watching
Oh,
TV all day, not just sitting there,
that hurts.
compared to pushing a hoop, it's work.
Yeah, I mean, the next day, if you do work your 16 in a patrol car and you have a regular shift in the next day, oh man.
You got to write too. Everything's a report. Just think about that. And if you went to college and your teacher gave you a report, you had a little bit of time usually to write it. When you get in when you sit in that car, before you even go 10-8, before you even leave the parking lot, the buffer has maybe 10 calls if you're lucky.
Some of them are report calls.
Most of them are report calls because the guy on the shift before doesn't want to do the last minute report. So he's going to bump it to you because you're coming in fresh. So you're going to sit down with maybe 10 calls.
Yeah.
And you're going to get out there and then you're going to get maybe 5 reports. Maybe. Sometimes it's all 10.
And you and I both know that we decided, both of us, and I don't think it's just both, not all, just us, but all the guys you've had on the show basically have stayed in the front line, whether they went to the gang unit, whatever it was. In order to get there, you didn't just take your calls and go home. You made obs arrests. That's why you went. That's why they selected you to go there. So you know what happens with those. Those have to be written.
Well,
you got a guy in custody.
An obs arrest is an observation, something I seen, or found, or discovered on my own without a call generated. You're making your own basic call.
Yeah, and you arrested him, so you have to write it. You can't put that off for a day or two. He's going to court.
Yeah, in custodies have a time limit.
Yeah.
So this is funny. We never talk about that in here, but the process of being on patrol. Because if I'm a civilian and never worked law enforcement, you see cars driving by your house every day. It's kind of funny. We never ever talk about what it takes to just work a radio car.
We should.
That's part of it. I mean, you go to briefing. They tell you what happened in the briefing before or what happened the shift before. You look at the briefing boards to see what they're looking for, maybe the night before. Something happened, maybe a robbery. You're looking for certain cars or certain people. You get information that says, be on the lookout for something that happened. So now when you get in your car, you have your calls that are already sitting in the box. So you have to handle those calls and prioritize them. Then you have to sit and go, okay, well, that was cool. They talked about a robbery last night, and it's a red car, and I might know that car. And then you know the area, you might say, I know who that is, because we do sometimes.
Yeah.
So you might want to go work that, but you have to take your calls. So you're trying to get your calls done so you can get to the obs arrests like you talk about. Or go do the fun stuff that you see that the detectives, when they put it out there that they want something, you want to satisfy those guys because you want to be detective. So if a detective comes to brief and says, this happened last night, this is a car, this is the person, this is where he's going to be, look out for him, he might be in the street, if you catch him, great. So you're always looking for that, I guess, a bump up. I want to catch that guy because now detectives will be looking at me because I'm helping them solve their cases. But you're still doing the buffer, and then you're getting hot calls. You're getting, robberies. You're getting burglaries. You're getting all kinds of crazy shit that you have to stop what you're doing and run to those because of the priority calls.
Yeah. So, like for example, SCC, our radio command center, you're working your regular. Let's use Norwalk, where I worked, and you worked also. You're working just a regular car, and you're going to see the man regarding whatever, and the SCC will come over the radio. Attention Norwalk units, code 3 response, baby not breathing, and they'll put out the address. And unit 1 or less, well, you have all this stuff to do, whether you're writing reports, you already got one guy in custody, so you knew you're going to write that. You're going to other calls, but now you're closest to the baby not breathing call. So, I mean,
you drop everything and go to that.
You go to that.
And now you're in charge. You're the handle, the handling unit. And then on your buffer, you'll get, the buffer to me is the screen. And it's basically the screen. I know now
we know what it is. They're computers now.
Now they're computers, but in the old days it was
a string in a can.
It was a little box about this big, and it had everything in there. Now they have computers with pictures, and it was basically DOS. Remember DOS was just that, and it said the name, and you'll put your number first when you're the handle, and it'll have all these numbers of all the other units of the people are your sys. So you'll be the handle rolling code 3 lights and sirens to go to the baby not breathing. As you're rolling, trying to get to that call. Everyone else that's those numbers after you are calling up saying in 4, in 3, from Pioneer. They're giving you, some guys won't do, the old way used to be from the street. They didn't tell you how long. They tell you, I'm on these streets. So you knew in your head, I know where they're at because you know the streets.
Yeah, be careful because you don't want to crash into them on the way there.
They're supposed to be giving you their streets because you don't want to crash into them. And it happens. We've lost a lot of guys rolling code 3, they smash into each other
Yeah.
because everybody's trying to get there fast, because especially the babies. So that priority call is out. You're trying to coordinate. You're driving like hell trying to get there.
Yeah.
And everybody's giving you information, and you're answering them. You're telling him where to set
While
up.
you're driving.
Telling him what you want. If it's a shooting call, you might say, don't go there, go here. Victim went to the hospital, I want you to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So you're pulling people off your assist to do other things. So you're thinking and you're still driving like a madman. That's a lot of shit.
That's a lot to do.
But it's the most fun you'll ever have in your life.
That's why, people around you, once you leave this profession, or even while you're in it. For example, we went to a wedding, I don't know, about 6 months ago or whatever it was. In the family, it was, you were at my wedding. So the guy that married us, Matt, his oldest sister got married. And we were at their house, was in their backyard and all that stuff. Well, it's over. They've got married. The reception started. And it was a warm day. And Melinda and I were out back. We're having a drink. We're relaxing. They had a band, and we're just, chilling. And this guy, I guess, I don't know if he's dehydrated. He had all kinds of stuff wrong. But the guy DFO'd. He just fell out right there in the middle of the backyard. Nobody was around him.
It was DFO.
Done fell out. And that comes from, where that comes from.
I have to put in definitions. That's why I'm writing definitions is a pain. So I try to get the definition as we're going. Sorry.
That's not my analogy. That's somebody else's.
Well, we did DRT the other day.
DRT, yeah. So anyway, he falls, and Melinda wasn't with me.
Right
she
there.
was dead right there. So she was getting us drinks or whatever was going, food, whatever. And I could see him. He just he falls out. So I walk over to him. Long story short, I give him help. Fire department comes, and he hadn't eaten all day. He's been drinking. Is dehydrated. Whatever. And later on, it's all over with. The fire department leaves. The guy's relaxing. He's okay. And somebody comes up to me, who I don't know, and they say, "How'd you do that?" Do what? I didn't do anything. She goes, "No, you obviously you must have done this for a living." I said, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "That guy, the way you helped him." And she goes, "You immediately, like that, got everybody away from him because they were doing all the wrong stuff. You're gonna actually, he actually ate it pretty good.
But you're an
He hit his-
EMT, so you know all that stuff too.
So I'm like, that's just life. It's just life. She goes, I want to be like that one day. And I'm, well, I don't know if you want to be like that one day, but that kind of thing, it just kind of forges that. Whether you like it or not, if you're gonna do this career and you're gonna stay in it any length of time, all the people that we worked with in patrol were like that. Mm-hmm. When stuff they were all of them. If they were successful at what they did in the street, they all had that capability because so much is thrown at them every shift. Like you said, you're doing multiple things while you're responding code 3. That's just the nature of the beast. Mm-hmm. That's just what you have to do. That's the way it is. Now they're trying to, don't do that. Don't, stay off your phone. Man, that phone's nothing compared to what we used to do.
Well, it's just you learn to multitask better than anyone on earth. Yeah. You really do, because the stress level, nobody has that stress level all day long.
Yeah.
50 calls a day, because you might have 40, 50 calls a day, maybe more. And you're doing it all the time, every day for 30-year career if you're work patrol for 30 years, because I know guys that never left patrol, that retired from patrol.
Yeah, that stayed there their entire career.
Well, doing that multitasking in the radio car makes you efficient, because you learn what's important now. You learn what to put back on the back burner. Mm-hmm. And even calls, you're doing that all the time. And I don't think people understand how much work that is. But once you get efficient at it, it's easy. But it's not something you can just do. Like, I want to go to DB. Nah, man. It takes so much to get to Detective Bureau. It takes so much to get to arson. It takes so much to get to SWAT. They only take the best. They really do.
Oh, they get to pick, especially in our department. It's so big, they get to pick who they want.
Yeah.
Well, and you can't teach that stuff. Mm-hmm. You can teach the preeminence of it. You can teach somebody, a new trainee. You can teach them everything you need to try to keep them alive and all those types of things. But that's just time.
Yeah.
You really can't teach some of the stuff that people learn. Yeah. Whether you're a fireman or a cop or whatever first responder you are.
Well, pushing a radio car, I wish there was more to it. I wish there was more people that would understand what it takes to do the job every day. Because they see TV. I want to be a cop. And they see TV. And they maybe have an uncle that's a cop that tells stories. That's fine. But the actual job, it's just not, it's not what people think. It's not. It's a lot. And that's why guys burn out. Guys don't make training. Guys get rolled up. Guys just quit.
Yeah.
All the time. Just quit. I see it all the time. Someone just quit. Like, how the hell? Just gets to you.
That and that, just the job itself, being in the community, responding to calls where people, they're only half of the time they call you, they don't want you there, but they don't know what else to do. they don't like you, but they don't know how to fix what just happened.
Well, the calls are one thing. No, you said the OBSs. The OBSs are, I see something, a car, somebody, I want to stop it. I think there's a gun. I think there's dope. Depends on what kind of cop you are. Some guys love dope. Some guys like guns. They do what they want. But it's also just a random, wave downs, flag downs. Hey, stop! I want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of that too,
and they can lead those. Some of those lead very well to very good places.
A lot of interaction that isn't a call. You don't even put it in the buffer. You don't generate a call. You just deal with it. Mm-hmm. Some ends up being hell. They blow up.
Yeah, they turn into something. They have legs of their own.
We get waved down all the time. And I remember I got waved down driving through them. We frequent areas that we think we're going to get hooks at, right? Or make arrests, OBSs. I used to go to a trailer park because they were cooking. They always cook in trailer parks for some reason. That's just a thing. I'm not saying if you live in a trailer park, you're a cook. I'm just saying that they tend.
That's exactly what you meant.
Cooks tend to cook methamphetamine, meth in trailers. Just the way it goes. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I didn't make it up.
It's the interesting thing about that is it's true because you typically don't see law enforcement driving through a trailer park. There's usually difficult to get through them.
Kind of maze.
Yeah, so they typically aren't driving around through a regular neighborhood like they would in a trailer park. So yeah, they do.
I got waved down in a trailer park. I was looking for this guy. I knew he was in the area, and I got waved down by a man. He was probably in his mid-30s. And he goes, I need to talk to you. I said, what's up? He says, I need to show you. Remember, we're king cars, so I'm solo, one-man car. So I get out of the car by myself, and I go, what do you got? And I go, okay, he seemed like a clean-cut guy. I think I could take him. I'm just kidding.
So you're going to show me what?
He takes me over to this trailer, and he opens the door, and then I see two little kids sitting on the couch. I go, okay, and we go in. What's going on? On the coffee table was like a bunch of different bags, and a bunch of different toys, like all these different, at the time I think it was like Transformers and all this stuff. And their kids are sitting on the couch, and one looks like he could be in Pelican Bay, just standing there, just staring at me.
Little kid?
Like pissed. He might have been 9.
Oh, man.
And
he started early.
The 6-year-old is crying his eyes out. They're just crying. So, I can already figure out what's going on. So he tells me, they decided they were going to go to Target and just steal all kinds of shit. But the man takes me like to the side and he says, my wife, the mother of the children, she's a tweaker. She got strung out on meth. So he's raising these boys alone. He goes, I work all day. I come home and this is what I see, right? And he's got a neighbor that opens, they're latchkey kids, what people do. He goes, I really want you to scare them. Oh. And I said, well, are you that dad that really wants me to scare them, or are you that dad that just wants me to talk to them? He goes, no, I want you to put the fear of God in these kids. I said, okay, we can do that. So I walked back into the kids and I said, so you want to steal, huh? Get up, stand up. And I hook them both, handcuff them both. And the dad's standing there just stoic, just like, no complaining. I'm just trying to see if he's going to go flip on me, right? So I hook him. Little boy just starts bawling. Pelican Bay, man, he ain't making a face. He's hardcore, dude. He's just got a straight face.
He already knows where he's going. Dude, he's already been there before.
He could be in the shoe, man. That little kid was just stone face, mad dogging me like, you ain't got shit caught, right? So, okay, let's go.
Are those two brothers?
They're brothers. So we get him I get him and I walk him out. Walk him out to the car, and I put him in the back seat, dude. I put him in the back seat of the car and but right when I shut the door, hardcore Henry man just started crying.
Hardcore Henry.
He starts crying, so I worked it out with the dad what to do. So they're both crying, bawling like hell. And I said, what, now you want to cry? I said, look at your brother. I basically did what you do. You know how you do. This is why you caused this. You shouldn't have done it, blah, blah, blah. I said, you're going to jail. You're going to kids' jail. Now they're crying even harder. We're taking you to kid jail. And I'm sitting in the front seat like I'm writing a report. And the dad comes out and he goes, sir, can I talk to you? And he says, I said, what? What do you need? I go, they're going to jail. Forget it. We're done. He goes, can you please give them another chance? Can you please give them another chance? And I go, just because your dad asked, I'm going to let you guys go. And they're all, thank you, Dad. They're crying, but they're telling Dad, thank you, Dad. And I unhook them, and they hug him like they're going to knock him over. They're just on him. And then I go, I'm going to come back and get you. If your dad calls me, I'm going to take you to jail for these toys. And then he goes, we're going to take them back. And he made his kids go back to Target and walk them back in and give them back.
That's what you should have always done, right?
I said, wave down. So I just drove away, and I said, that little kid, he might have been hardcore
if you hadn't stopped.
If his dad didn't wave me down that one day.
Did you ever check on him?
Oh, went by, but you don't see him.
Yeah.
I never really went to go check on him. I just one-time thing.
Yeah, but
we do it all the time.
You never know. You never know what a wave down is going to be.
That's part of the job, though.
Yeah, no, you can't just keep driving.
Mm-mm. And that's what we talked about last show, and I said it every show: windows up, windows down.
Couldn't stand that.
Why not? Get your side of this.
I was, you remember Solis, Steve
Snacks?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
So we were working. See him laugh, dude. We were working O.S.S. together, and we went out to L.A. We went out. I'm trying to remember exactly where we were. We were not far from Lenox, but we're in L.A. And we were looking. We both had cases that were out there. They weren't out there, but our guys were out there. So we go to the first house we go to is my house, and when we roll up, there's 10 guys sitting on a front porch, and they're all black from a gang up there. And I'm looking for my guy, and he goes, you probably shouldn't be here, Sheriff. And I'm like, well, I can come back with all my friends. We can do that too. We can take everybody, that whole 9 yards. And he's like, you wouldn't do it. I picked up the phone, and Lennox showed up. And so, when they call your bluff, you better not be bluffing, right?
Better do it.
So we did our thing. Well, then we go around the corner. We did our thing, took one guy with us, dropped him off at Lennox, and we went to do Steve's thing. And then his guy wasn't there. We didn't get to serve him or anything. But while we were at my location, before we left, an LAPD car went by, and it was one of their TOs. We knew him because before I became a detective, before they promoted me, I worked. I was at Lenox Get after the whole Jerry takedown and all that. So I knew this officer. He was a black LAPD officer. He was a TO, been there for a long time. Great guy, but he had a blonde female was his trainee, and they saw us down the street, so they came by to check on us. We were in their neighborhood, so just to check on us. But their windows were up when they showed up. And he got out. He just kind of got out, looked over the hood of the car, because the driver's side was on the other side. We were on this side, and he was on this side. So he just looked over. You guys good? Yeah, we're good, dude. Thanks. And they leave. Windows up. All 4 windows. And this was the summer. It was hot. So they probably had their air conditioner on. No back windows down. They leave. Remember I told you we left. We went I think it was 3 or 4 blocks down for Steve's guy. Yeah. He wasn't there. And next thing we know, we hear lights and not lights. We hear sirens, and now we hear helicopters overhead, and they're looking for people. We go back up the street, and they got shot, both of them. Now they weren't killed, but they didn't hear it coming. We didn't hear the rounds. We were far enough away that we didn't hear the rounds, but we came back up, and it was both of them. That's why we have our windows down.
I remember the situation. I remember you and I talked about it. 100%.
I mean, it's
100%. And you can say, well, how do you know? I'm sorry, man. I could tell when someone was walking up on me. I'm not trying to money more in a quarterback their thing.
Yeah.
But I could tell when someone was walking up on me. I could hear them. I could hear engines revving. I could hear things happening, keys rattling. You can hear stuff. You can hear. I don't know. It's like a sense, dude.
You can't. That's the part you can't teach.
Smell. They talked about smell because your windows are down, but also hearing. Something about it, and especially working the jails. Because when you work the jails, you hear problems coming. You just do.
Yeah, you do. And
You key on what could be a problem.
your senses, that is the best training. Nobody wants to go there. Believe me, deputies don't like to work in there, but it is the college for law enforcement. You can learn a lot. Those are the people you're going to be dealing with. Right or wrong, and they could be there for the wrong reason, right reason. They didn't do it, whatever the reason is. There's a lot of things you can learn from the people that are in there in custody.
Well, we could probably talk about the setup in your car. Like my setup in my car, working patrol, driving around a black and white, it was windows down. Seatbelt was never, ever, ever on, ever. And I know you had a TC and your seatbelt, but you put it on when you rode. When you get a call, you put it on.
I didn't have my seatbelt on.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Well, when I got a call that was a hot call, I put on my seatbelt. But if I was just hunting the neighborhood, never had my seatbelt on. So people would say, well, this is the argument. I'm trying to do a counter argument. I don't roll down my windows because someone could come up to my car and whatever, mess with me sitting in that car with seatbelted in, and I can't act. Well, that's an argument I get. But I'll counter it with, I never had my seatbelt on. And I can do a lot of stuff in a seat. What's the window? What's the matter with the window? What's it going to stop? It doesn't stop bullets.
One thing it would have done is you probably would have heard them coming.
You can hear people running. You can hear people coming up. If you got if your head's in your cell phone, you're playing your favorite Spotify. Yeah, you're not going to hear shit, But the window down. That's why I lost my hearing. The window's down. But I would sacrifice that for a minute because I had people run up on my car all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad they were okay. They weren't trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
But people run up on your car all the time. And you knew they were coming. Like they get scared because now the gun's pointed at you. And they go, okay, I'm just trying to tell you there's a guy running. Okay, fine. Get away from my car and I'll take care of it.
Most of the time you come in contact with people, whether it's a call or it's a wave down, like you said, or people running up on your car, it's not their best day.
It's never.
So you don't know, they're like, oh my God, this guy just got hit by and they took off and he's running that way and
pointing
they're
your
freaking
gun
out.
at them. Pointing your gun at them isn't a big deal. Yeah, they're shocked by it. And I'm not going to shoot someone just running up on me. But I've pointed my gun at a lot of people until I found out they were friendlies. Mm-hmm. You just don't run up on me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's easy to what you call dusting it off. Dust them off. It means you start out hot and you dust them off saying, hey man, sorry about I put you on your face, but somebody told me there was somebody here with a gun and you matched the description and we got the right guy. Mm-hmm. And usually if you do it right, they're fine. They're fine. You got some that don't like being thrown to the ground, but I don't know you. I don't know you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the price of doing business when you play like that. Mm-hmm. Growing up in neighborhoods like that I know you did, I didn't. But when you're in a neighborhood like that, we come to find out later on at the end of our career, my biggest folly was the department.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Biggest foe was my department. Wasn't the guys that I worked with, usually.
A lot of that's, Dan, because you know better.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, your new boot, you take everything thinking that's normal. People, sergeants messing with you, brass messing with you. You just take it because you think you don't have any recourse. Mm-hmm. As you get older, no, I can argue with you because I know you're wrong. Mm-hmm. And I don't have much to lose. I only got a couple of years left.
Well, I just had that. I was just talking to somebody I know that was going through something, and as a first responder, and he didn't know what he didn't know. Mm-hmm. And the reason he didn't know is because you just said it. When you're new, you think there's nothing I can do. Oh, yes, there is. There's a lot you can do. Mm-hmm. A lot you can do, and the point of that is if you do decide to come into this career. And whether you do or don't know people in law enforcement, whether they're family members or friends, if you do, you should probably reach out to them if they've been on for a significant period of time because they might tell you something completely different. Now, don't do that. Don't do that, and this is why or whatever. Yeah. It's good to have that. Good to have those people you can talk to.
Absolutely. You should be grabbing mentors everywhere you can that are good mentors. But the radio car thing and the young kids, you're trying to make your name. You're trying to make your bones. You're trying to make as many hooks as possible. You want the guys to accept you. You want to be a good cop. There's so many things that go to it. But driving around with your blinders on is never going to work. Mm-mm. If you're going to sit in your car and you look cool. I look cool in a radio car. And I'm driving around my neighborhood. Windows up. I'm on my phone. You're not impressing anybody. To me, you're not impressing anybody. You're kind of ridiculous.
You have the out of order sign up.
Yep.
Now that's showing.
You might as well say that.
You're not even...
OBS is, I'm going to toot it, the horn, but LA Sheriff's is OBS. Everybody takes pride in doing an OBS arrest, an observation arrest, something I saw and something I conquered. I saw something wrong. I went to it, I figured out what it was, and I took someone to jail for something. And I stopped something probably that was going to happen.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
That's a huge thing. I was driving in Norwalk right by the convention center. Right, coming out of that, I forgot.
Sports Center?
Yeah.
Up by the 5?
And I came through. No, I'm sorry. Between the parking structure and Norwalk Station. That
Oh, yeah. By the courthouse.
And I came onto Imperial going eastbound. And I saw from far, I was stopped at the light. From afar, there was a young girl sitting on a bus stop right by the where you get your Social Security cards. What is it, recorder? She was sitting on that bus. You know, that bus stop right in front of the recorder's office?
Kind of recorder's office, yeah.
So I'm sitting there kind of like watching, like she's really young to be at a freaking bus stop, probably 13. And it's school day. That's weird. And I was with Leonard Rivas.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, I'm going to go talk to her. But before I could, some gangster pulls up right at the bus stop. And he starts talking to her. I'm just straight OG, no hair, probably in his 40s.
Jeez.
She gets in the car. He talks to her for a second, and he gets in the car. And they take off. And I'm like, I'm going to jam this shit. So we pull him over. First thing Leonard does is pull her out. So I start talking to him. Parolee out of the one-ways.
Did she know him?
No idea who he was. He offered her a ride.
Wow.
And she accepted. And I think, parolee, also, you know what you can do with parolees. So we took care of what we had to take care of. But she got a ride home. Mom got a talking to. Dad got a talking to. Everybody got talked to when we could talk to him. And it was fine. But, dude.
Yeah, that was destined to go nowhere good, I should say. It happens a lot.
You remember Al Bennett?
Yeah.
You remember we were doing the overtime for saturation in Pico? They're giving that overtime. So we went from industry to work partners, saturation gang patrol. And you do the motels. You do all the motels. You just do the run through. Yeah. You're bored. There's nothing going on. You jam 500
Motel
cars.
6,
You're coming up empty. So you go, let's just try to generate something. So you go through the motels. You just do a parking lot check because there's always something going on in or out. And for some reason, we jammed a guy in the parking lot. We toss him in his car, and we get the key. And I'm looking. I keep seeing this one hotel room door open, shut. Someone's peeking, but no one's coming out. So I get the key, and it is that room. So he was in that room. Go to the door, open the door. Hey, knock on the door. Come on, guys, come. What's going on in here? 17-year-old girl sitting on the bed, like 9 gangsters in there. Old heads. And right away, you come here. What do you start jamming them all? Call some guys out. We call like 3 more cars. Parolees, probation, ex-cons. She's in there by herself, and guess what she is? She's a runaway. In the system.
How long has she been a runaway?
A week, 2 weeks, out of Pico Rivera.
Wow.
So we take her home, talk to social services, DCFS. I'll do all those whole, the shit you have to do. We got her home. Mom is hysterical because she's been looking for her. But she's just that little kid who knows it all. Knows it all. And I'm not going to say here the whole situation because it's horrible. But it's just by that stop. That's not a call. That's an OBS.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on at the hotels that people don't have any idea about.
If you're driving through my neighborhood with your windows up, you don't want crime, bro. You're not trying to make an OBS. If you're in my neighborhood, you're wasting your damn time. You should be at the gas stations, the hotels, because that's where the crime is. That's where you're going to catch the people coming in and out that are possibly good stops. But driving my street, yeah, I love it. I want them there. I want that presence. But there's nothing going on these streets. You want to make a difference. Keep the outside influence from coming in. And, we got the Megan's Law thing. And then I look at it. I want to know what my neighborhood's about. There's people that need to be talked to. I don't see them doing that.
No, they can run it. It's open. It's an open resource for law enforcement or just anybody in the neighborhood. We could run it.
I'm coming in here talking to you like this because I've been getting feedback, and I think there's a need for retraining for these kids getting into this field.
Well, it's interesting that you say
Not
that.
retraining, training.
Training, because they don't want today. When you and I came on, I was talking to Larry about this the other day. Larry Knott. Linwood Larry. Like I said, you can't. Some of the stuff we learned, there's no class to go to. It's just you have to learn it, and you have to learn it. And a lot of the way you learn it is to screw up. That's the only way to learn it, so you don't do it again. Well, now the department, they don't want you to learn that. They don't want you to do that stuff.
But they can't stop you from doing it.
No, they can't.
And you're right. But they can't stop you.
Exactly.
So the excuse of my department doesn't back me.
Yeah.
My buddy got an IA because whatever, and I don't want to do it because I don't want to get in trouble. That's
bullshit. You're in the wrong job.
Just quit. Just quit.
Yeah, you're in the wrong job.
Because there's a way to do the job. You can't ever tell me there's not a way to do the job nowadays. You can't. It's impossible for me to believe you can't do the job. You just have to do it differently now.
You know, you mentioned the hotel with the girl in there and all the gangsters. Very common. Happens a lot. I mean, we did the human trafficking stuff. That stuff came to our door, even though you'd want to stay away from us. They didn't know we were there, but good Lord, they just right next to us.
Well, in Lancaster, a car full of them, and the pimp and 3 young girls in the backseat.
Walked right in. And we really?
This stuff isn't make believe, people. No. This is reality,
real life. And you don't see this. So I remember when I was working Norwalk with Ken and the net team and stuff. You were at O.S.S. I remember we were looking for somebody, and I said, "Well, I don't." He goes, "What do you want to do?" It was my case. I stopped him. It was all an obs arrest. We were trying to find him, and because the judge screwed up and let him out, and he got out. But the guy was a gangster. He was parole, everything. So we were looking for him, and we had no address. And I said, "I know where he's staying." And long story short, it was at a hotel, and we didn't really have. We can't just go hit it because we don't know that he's actually in that room. But it worked out for us. Long story short, that dude actually had a fully automatic M16 with him. Now, those are illegal from the get-go, but an M16 is a freaking Army-issued machine gun. And they are not, if you are able to get one, they're not fully automatic. You have to go through some stuff to get them to be fully automatic.
Yep.
Fully automatic. Parolee.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff is out there. You just have to...
I got AK in the hotel room.
Yeah, you just have to shake the trees, as they say.
Me and Sal Munoz and my team got an AK-47 in the Vagabond Inn, right there in Hacienda. They're everywhere, bro.
They're all over. I mean, you just have to shake the trees.
They're running their casitas. They're running their...
They got a lot of stuff going on that people don't know about. And
hotels is where they set up shop because they can do something on a weekend and be gone on Monday or be gone the next day.
And they know that you don't have standing. Like you typically don't have standing for like serving a search warrant. You got to takes a little bit to get that, right? But it doesn't mean you could write it. No, you could write it.
I'm saying is I know you can do it.
Yeah.
I know I can do it.
You just have to find out that he's actually
you have to figure it out and you can it's easy to figure out. It's easy to figure out. I had that happen in Carson when I was working Carson Get. Same thing. One room, they're running their business, the girls there, all the stuff. And you take care of your job. But you save some people because they're underage.
Mm-hmm. That's big time on Long Beach Boulevard still to this day. Mm-hmm. What's going on with running the girls and all that stuff through the...
It started with the gangster in the street.
The no-tell hotel?
Jam him on the street wearing a trench coat, grab him by his arms to search him, and a machete falls out of his jacket.
That was for just cutting meat, bro. That had nothing to do with nothing.
He's got a full machete, and he had it on the rope, but the little rope, I guess, broke. So it drops to the ground. Like, what the heck? Led us to the hotel room, led us to the girls, led us to rescuing, because they was underage.
Yeah.
But there was a line of men waiting. It's like, wait. As soon as we came around the hotel room, motel area, they're all sitting on the planters. And then we went in the room. There's two rooms. They're sitting on the bed, like in line. And I'm not going to even mention what was in that room. It was just
it's amazing
nasty.
It's amazing what you happenstance or happened into.
That's OBSs.
And
going back to OBSs. These are people you jam in the street, not a call. These are the people you go look for instead of driving around with their damn windows up in your radio or you're on your cell phone. go make some hooks because they're walking the streets.
And when I crashed, it was pouring that night. My windows were down. I was soaking wet.
A guy talked about you carried a towel to wipe the armrest instead of rolling up. I would roll my back ones down when it got really bad.
Yeah, my back ones were down, and mine were down about a couple inches because it was pouring. And you know what? Had that not occurred, had they not been down, the gangster that did help me out of that car, he wouldn't have been able to get my window down. I lost all power.
Yeah.
So he actually was able to pull the window down because it was open, a little bit, so he could actually pull it down.
I saw the pictures of that car, dude. That's crazy. You almost sliced that car in half.
Yeah, if Joe had been in the car with me that night, I'd have killed Joe.
I think they was gonna smash all the way through the car, hit your head, and just stop.
The concrete light head. There you go. Wait, you're okay? No, hit me in the head. I'm fine. Totally fine.
The car almost smashed in half. No, I stopped it with my head.
So you were talking about like situations that you. So, for example, down in you worked it. It was your gang area, but it was down in. I was working the net team. I was working with Robbie, but we weren't down there. We were doing our normal thing. 90% of what we did on that team was quality of life issues. You know that. Same with Get.
Yeah.
Get and O.S.S, most of it, especially Get, was all OBS. All of it. We did go to calls if it came out and it was gang related or if people needed help. They were in a fight.
We wanted to jam the gangster that was out there in the field.
It was specifically gang related. Now, if we had a deputy involved in a fight, heck yeah, we'd go to that. But primarily, we didn't get calls. There was no calls. We were making our own calls. So at that time, I was working NORC enforcement team. Robbie was my partner, and we were in Carmelas, and we were down there probably looking for somebody for you. I mean, a lot of what we did was help, hey, you guys, it's a weekend, we're on, you guys were off sometimes, and you were looking for somebody or something. And we were just south of Rosecrans. So it's there's an alley that runs Rosecrans, and there's an alley that runs behind the houses that are on Rosecrans because their driveways or their garages were back there. And unbeknownst to us, we were going through the alleys back there when there was a unit that had went to a call. One of our NORC units went to the call. And we didn't realize we were that close to where their call was because we were in the alley. And next thing you know, they're involved. The guy they're looking for at that house, I think it was a domestic, whatever it was, but he was a gangster. And the next thing you know, they're in a fight in the backyard. And we're looking for them. They're putting it out, and they can't remember. They made it into a different house, so they put out the wrong address, I believe, like a couple numbers off. And long story short, there's no way in. There's no, to the backyards. There was no, in this particular house, there was no gate. It was just a wood.
Sometimes it's just the garage, too.
The garage was shut, locked, and there was no gate because they didn't want people breaking into their backyard. And big, tall. So I remember specifically Ronnie's running around, Dan, we got to go around the front. And it's a long roll around. Because our car was all the way at the end of the drive. Now we're way away from the car, so we got to run all. You're kind of trapped back there. Yeah. So we're going to run all the way around. I'm like, screw that! I just backed up, ran right through the fence.
You Kool-Aided it?
Bam! I Kool-Aided it. I felt like Roger Rabbit. Bam!
That's what we used to call it.
And we could tell by the noise that it was actually in that yard.
Hey, cool.
I can't do that today.
You would die.
I'd fall apart. I'd be like the what's that little Mr. Potato Head? There'd be parts everywhere.
Tino Madrid did the same thing. He Kool-Aided it was dog ear, but he just the whole fence, and the whole fence ended up falling on the guys fighting. So the deputy's under the fence now.
That was perfect.
But Tino was a paratrooper. He's a big boy. He's a badass. He actually rejoined the military after 9/11.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people did that.
Badass dude. These are the things that we do, but it's not OBSs. It's OBS. It's just making work, generating your own work.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we did.
I think it's gone.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know if it's, I still believe sheriffs are still doing it because I see them. I see them out there. There's people still on the curb. Not as much as usual, but they're still doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been back. I don't know if you've been back. I know that Century's doing it. I don't know who else is still doing it.
I was going through Norwalk, Whittier, and they were on the curb, had legs out, feet, ankles crossed.
Good.
Good.
It needs to happen. I mean, it's sad how the people at the top have such an effect on the people at the bottom.
Well, there's thing you talked about is where you're scared. You're scared. You don't know, or you don't have the information to fight back. Everybody, the brass, just because they're brass, gets a pass on most stuff. Mm-hmm. But you and I know they're not as good as they think they are sometimes.
When you push back, especially with truth and knowledge, 9 times out of 10 they'll fold. And
it's pretend sometimes.
But they have that do as I say, not as I do. Well, that only works once. Mm-hmm. And it never worked again for us. It never worked again when they did that to us. We're like, okay, that's nice, but that's against the law. So yeah, you can't. There's things you can always do. There's always things you can do, and they typically a commander, captain, commander, and above. They're working off of the fear of what their rank brings to them. As soon as you pull the rug out from under them, that's gone. They usually don't have anything to stand on because some of them were never even detectives. They don't know a damn thing about the law. Those are those people that promote quickly. I remember, I'm not going to say the names but I remember very high up, a sheriff told somebody below him who he looked up to that was also pretty high up in the department. And he said, "You've done a disservice to yourself." Sheriff said that to him. And he was like, "What are you talking about? Look what I've done." He goes, "Well, you didn't spend any time anywhere. Every rank that you got, you only stayed there like a year and a half. What could you possibly teach me or anybody else below you? You weren't there long enough to learn a damn thing about it. You didn't feel any adversity while you had that rank, and then you moved up. So you're doing yourself a disservice by all this. Oh, I'm your sergeant. So you're like 6. You've been in the department 6 years. You're a sergeant, and you're going to come tell me what to do? I'm sorry. I'm going to do what you tell me to do. Unless it's not going to work, then I'm not going to do it." But that's a lot of the problem today is that.
You're right.
These people that are getting promoted you remember when we were out there were guys that were sergeants that stayed in patrol their entire career and they became a sergeant, like a Larry Knott, Linwood. That guy, you go talk to someone like that and okay, what happened? This, and this. And they could walk you through it like, well, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. They can walk you through it. Now, today, they have people that what'd you do that for? Mm-hmm. Well, it's already happened, so let's not worry about that. But now what do we do? And I'm not talking about like get me out of it. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm just mentoring your way through what's going to come next.
Yep.
And there's a lot of that missing. Let me ask you this. I remember when I was working earlies in Norwalk, after you're off for a while and you got your feet under, you're not on training anymore, all that stuff, you've been out there forever. You still need help every once in a while. There's still people you look up to, the guys that have been on the shift forever, the TOs and all that stuff. You can pull them aside. Hey, I got this and this. What do you think? Why don't you try this too? Charge them with that too and whatever. But one of the things you did when you were in briefing is who was your sergeant that night? Who was the sergeant who was 40 Sam or whatever station sergeant, whoever your field sergeant was. That would dictate whether or not there was certain things that were going to happen or not going to happen.
Yep.
Or he was going to let it go, whatever pursuit, whatever it was. I think the entire time I was there, yes, they were different. They had different personalities each sergeant, but there was never one that you were like, oh man, I'm not working. Mm-mm. There was later. There was a couple people that came, like Peppermint Patty and some other people that we called them. You're just like, oh no, never mind. You're not my sergeant. I'm going over here to get my guy. Mm-hmm. But that kind of thing. But for the most part, man, we had some great sergeants.
Sergeant's most important supervisor there is.
Yeah.
By far. And there's always a way. You got shitty sergeant, didn't stop me from working just like you.
No, but you knew
you're going to have to deal with it. And most of those shitty sergeants won't mess with you at all because they know they can't compete. Those ones you talk about, they get the stripes too fast. They learn real quick, like Peppermint Patty. The older guys are going to challenge your lack of knowledge. They're not going to run from you. They're going to challenge your lack of knowledge, and they're going to start avoiding those people. The sergeants are going to start avoiding those deputies because they make them look bad. And it's also bad, too, because now if they're not supervising, what's getting by that they need to do something with.
Yep.
So it's always a negative having them out there.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, we're going to send them patrol. Oh, you got your stripes now. You have to get your field time in.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do your field time. But you have to learn how to be everything because you didn't do shit your whole career. You basically have to learn how to be
Start over.
DB because you are the filter that what goes to DB because you're out in the field. So you got a field deputy gets a good hook, and maybe it's a controversial hook. That sergeant needs to go, well, DB's not going to want that. They're going to be pissed that you did that and whatever happens. And then you got to do your field stuff. What's arrestable? What's your probable cause? What's your elements? You got to have all that in knowledge. If you don't have that,
how'd you become a sergeant?
Don't promote. Just don't promote.
That's the problem is you got guys signing off paper that should have never been signed off.
I've got it. In O.S.S, I would get paper and go, who signed this shit?
Yeah, send it back. SRD it right back.
And I never called the sergeant, ever. I called the deputy the handle. And hey man, I like you. You're a good dude. But you told me you got 20 rounds and I counted 4.
What happened? Did you lose your fingers or your toes? You didn't take your shoes off?
Oh, well, no, there's no such thing as a sup. You're missing evidence, bro. You got to figure this shit out. Either kick them,
B1 them,
or find those damn rounds, man, or figure out where they're at or something. You know how it works. And then you go, who's that sergeant? And this funny thing is that you get another one of those same problems. And you go, who's that sergeant? And it's the same sergeant. So it's always the same deputy and the same sergeant.
He's like, I'm going to go fishing for another sergeant to sign this. I remember one night, I think I told you this too. I was working overtime. I can't remember the name, but anyways, a nightclub. Anyways, I was working there. They always wanted the gang unit there because of the issues they had there. The city wouldn't give them their license if the gang unit wasn't there on the weekends. So anyways, I worked it for overtime. It was easy. But one night, I remember there was a melee. I mean, the place just went off. And I mean, I know you've been there, you've worked it. But there's like 800 people fit in that damn place. It's huge. There's only a couple, there's a couple deputies show up, or you put out 10 through the game of the patch, and a whole bunch of people show up, but still, you're way outnumbered. So the whole thing goes by. There's multiple people handcuffed. Multiple people are going to jail. And of course, there's your new deputy that just showed up, and he's been on the department maybe all of 8 years, right? And he's somebody, he knows somebody, he got, tested well, became a deputy, now he's out in the field, which he should have stayed in custody a little bit, learn a little bit more, but he's that guy that makes it to custody, yet you see these guys that have been on forever, and they should be in the street as a sergeant instead of sending them to custody. Mm-hmm. Anyways, it's not that it's me. I'm sure he's done this to other people too, but of course I was wearing the O.S.S garb, been on a long time. I was just getting ready to leave. As a matter of fact, I was actually on the team we were on, but I still went back because they wanted me to work it. Mm-hmm. So I had all this, just threw on the Ray jacket and did that thing. But he shows up, and I'm there, and he's like, "Hey, sir." And I'm like, "What's up, dude?" And he goes, "So what happened? What happened?" I said, "It's all over there. It's right there." I told him everything he needed to know, and he kept coming back. "Sir, I need you to, can you walk me through this?" I'm like, and they got 2 stations there. That's how many people rolled. I'm like, "You come here. You need to stop calling me sir." "Why?" "Because you're the sergeant. It doesn't matter how long I've been on the department. I mean, I get it. Thank you for the respect, but this is your handle. I'll help you however you want. But stop skirting your authority and looking at me, because all these guys are looking at you. And you're going to lose it right here and now. You're going to lose the ability to lead these guys."
Yep.
You do realize that, right? Remember when we came on the department and you're new, you go out to patrol, you're testing you because they don't know who you are.
All the time. They
don't know, is this guy going to show up when I need him? Is he going to stick around if I get in a fight? If we get in a shootout, is he going to run and hide? We don't know what this guy's going to do. Well, they do the same thing when they get a new sergeant. Mm-hmm. We all check out who's coming. Who is that guy? Do you know him? Do you know him? Do you know him? Do you know? Everybody's asking.
It's called a credit check.
Yeah, but I'm like, you realize you're going to kill your entire ability to be a sergeant to this station by doing what you're doing right here, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
they've lost so many people, not just on our department. They've lost so many experienced people. Because remember, when we got hired, that 5-year period, they hired a lot of people, thousands of people, and they're all leaving now. They're all retiring because their time's up. Their 30 years are up.
Yep.
And they've lost a lot of people, experienced people.
Yeah. You could try to help them. Depends on who they are.
Yeah, I mean.
But most of the time, they try to wing it and they screw it up. Yeah. They just screw it up.
That's the thing you can't fix, when they screw it up and it affects everybody over there. And now everybody's under investigation because you did something, whatever.
I would rather have a humble one like you that knows his deficiencies than one who's trying to pretend that he knows everything. Like
I got a great one. Andy. You remember, I'm trying to remember his last name, Anderson. He was a sergeant at Norwalk, worked Century and Linwood, became a sergeant, went to Norwalk. Bald guy, ended up becoming a traffic cop, but he did work for the city of Norwalk for a minute. And I know you were there during this time. I don't remember. So Rob and I, there was a pursuit in Whittier County's area on Telegraph, right by Pizza Mania. Okay. And he goes to ground, and it's like 5 o'clock, middle of the summer, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So they're asking for containment spots because this guy they think he got out of the containment. So we roll down all the way down there from Norwalk, and we take up a spot. Well, now he's through the containment. He makes it across Telegraph. So one of the only times ever that I drove was that day. And I think Rob was maybe a little bit late, so I jumped on the car, and I'm flying out of the station. He jumps on the car, and here we go. So we took off because he was past, why are we holding the containment when he's past the containment? So we take off after him he's running right down the middle of Telegraph, right by the old post office there. Anyway, helicopter's up. It's on the radio. Rob's like, hey, we got him. He's running, westbound, Telegraph, blah, blah, whatever. And as he's running, we're getting close to him, and he can hear our car. He can, we had the slicks with, lights, and you could hear the barrel of the carburetor open up. So he's like, now he's looking over his shoulder, and he doesn't have his shoes tied. So as he tries to stop, his shoes go, hit one shoe, anyway, Rob opens the door, and I'm coming to a stop so we can get out and grab this guy. Well, as he does, the guy falls down because his shoes fell off, and he trips himself, and his legs cross, and Rob opens the door, and I'm turning to the left to avoid hitting Ding Dong because he just fell down. His ankles are on top of each other, right? And as we're turning, of course, the car leans to the right as Rob gets out, and our door goes right over his legs and pins his feet on the ground as we stop, drags him a little bit, screws up his foot. But we didn't hit him. Uncanny, right? Well, the helicopter is flying around, and he goes, oh, he just hit him, right? That's what he says. He says, oh, they just hit him. We didn't hit him. He fell down. And he was next to the door. Rob was going to use the door, but he fell down. Anyway, I remember Andy, during all that time, this is when you have a really good sergeant. And he was there. He saw the whole thing. He was in the parking lot because he was holding a containment spot. And he saw the whole thing from Rob's perspective, because Rob the door was open. Rob could see, but he didn't know where he was exactly because he was getting out of the car. We were still moving. We weren't going fast, but we were still moving. Anyway, and so the arrow says that. They hit him. And, of course, Rob hooks him up. The guy's screaming. It drug his ankle a little bit. He was in pain. He lived. He's okay. He's fine. But he's going to jail. And Sergeant Anderson, he's like, hey, Arrow, it's Sergeant so-and-so. Go over to LTAC. So I switch over to LTAC. And he goes, can you land? And he goes, no, we're kind of busy. I said, that wasn't a request. Land. Where? Anywhere. Tell me where you're going to land, and I'll come meet you. And so they forced him to land. And he ripped him. He goes, how? That's not what happened. He didn't hit him.
You said it on the radio.
You said it on the radio. I actually watched the whole thing. You were right over them. How could you see what happened? What you can see through the floor of your helicopter? Oh, dude, he went off on him. But that's the kind of sergeant you need that, hey, hold everybody accountable. If we did hit him, then he should have did whatever needed to be done because we hit him, but we didn't.
They're real sergeants.
Yeah.
Those are real sergeants. You know Eric, right?
Eric.
You reminded me.
Giambavo.
You reminded me. You reminded me of Eric when you were telling me this story right now. I don't know why, because I guess because
Giambavo?
yeah, Eric Giambavo. I love Eric, but there was a time when I don't know why I was driving him after a warrant. 3:00 warrant. You're driving home.
You don't know why? He's going to go to sleep. You got to stay up.
I'm not going to talk bad about my boy. So I'm driving, and the window's down, of course, and we're driving on Norwalk Boulevard south of Whittier, southbound. So we're driving. No, it's Pioneer, actually. Norwalk turns into Pioneer, right? One of those two. I don't remember. But we're driving southbound, and this gangster starts running northbound. So we're southbound, northbound. He's on the West Side Street. And Eric, half asleep, half just messing around, looks out the window, sees the gangster just running down the street. He goes, there he is, get him. It's like messing around, right? It's like a joke. Hey, there he is, get him. And I just look and I kind of laugh. And he passes the car. And then turning the corner, Al Carrillo. He looks at me, goes, Adam, get him. Al Carrillo was chasing him, but he was turning the corner.
On foot?
On foot.
Of course he was.
We saw the gangster. We didn't see Al because he didn't make the corner yet. But as we kept going southbound, Al broke the corner and he's like, get him. And he points. And Eric jumps out. Oh, shit.
He was kidding.
He wakes
and then
up.
he sees Paul.
He wakes up. We do the U-turn.
Man.
We do the U-turn and we go back northbound. And we stop right at the corner of, I think it's Whittier, Norwalk or Whittier Pioneer. There's a Taco Bell right there.
Where was Paul?
Paul was chasing him. But
Was it Paul chasing him, or was it?
No, I saw Paul. Paul was behind. So I never saw Paul.
Were always chasing.
He might have been in the car, but so we go northbound, and when I went to chase the guy, he cut through Carl's Jack in the Box, and there was so much. I'm Jack in the Box. I keep saying Jack in the Box. Let's talk about Whittier Boulevard is clogged.
Yeah,
it's
it's clogged
Monday
right there.
morning traffic, so I couldn't make the left to go after him. So I just parked, blocking the left turn lane on the northbound, and I just jumped out. So my car is sitting there. Doors open, we start racing after him. We catch him at the railroad tracks. They go over the pass.
Yeah.
He actually tried to hide behind a tree. Like, I'm gonna.
You can't see me.
The rock. The side of the train tracks is rocks.
Yeah.
So he tries to run down to the rocks and he slips because he's in the socks, and so he tumbles down the rocks, and there's one like shrub. And he just lays behind it like he's gonna do it right behind him, like stupid. So we get him and take him back. But I guess the kicker to this is when we got back, the same car that was trying to make the left was still. I blocked him, so he couldn't make the left.
You're still sitting there.
It was a convertible Mustang, and he's a girl, somebody probably going to the beach, before the morning rush. I don't know. So I apologized to him. I said, "Hey, sir, I'm sorry about that. I left my car." He goes, "Fuck that. That was the greatest shit I ever saw in my life."
I thought he was filming a movie, huh? Is this a movie being filmed or what?
Because we're walking. I have him, sir, sorry about that. He goes, "No, that was the greatest shit I ever saw in my life." He goes, "Hell yeah," and throw him in the back seat. And he's like laughing. He loved it. He's like, that part would pull away. Paul, what's up? And then you have to, no, that's another show. Why were we chasing him is another show.
Shut up, Adam. You know those two.
Oh, they're great cops.
I know.
Outstanding cops.
They were always chasing somebody. It's like what was the joke? Ball. There they went.
Paul and Al, I fed them like they were starving. Those guys they would go get whatever. Hey, Paul, I'm looking for this. Al, I'm looking for this. And they come back with everything I told them.
You remember sometime while we were on the undercover unit, we were doing cameras and all this. So we find a camera that has I think Jimmy found it, but it had a magnet on it. You could just really heavy duty magnet. You could stick right on top of your car. We needed those. When we were doing that stuff back then, they didn't have those cameras. Oh man, we should have had that on at least, most of the stuff we were doing. Mm-hmm. It was funnier than crap. I remember us chasing a murder suspect out of Pico, and John Steele, who you've had in here, and him and Johnny Broad were partners that night. And this guy had like three changes of clothes on. And while he was driving, he was shedding clothes so that when he ran, he wasn't wearing the same thing that they put out the description of, right? Well, he gets off on Alondra, 605 South. Yeah. He gets off at Alondra, and he comes down around the thing, and we're all, I think it was Boucher that was actually chasing him, but the net team was waiting for him to get off wherever. And if we had a camera at that end of that, because he jumped out of the car, ghosted the car. The car went through the intersection, through Alondra, hit a house, and he's running. He's got 1 foot on, one sock flipping all around, one shoe on, because he was taking off his clothes, right? And I remember he turned a couple different ways when he was running. And I remember John, he'll tell you this, John Steele launched Johnny Broad. Johnny Broad was trying to get out of the car and then try to get back in. And because John was, he launched him. He hit him and launched him. I'd be like,
Johnny Broad weighs like 50 pounds.
I know, but I'm like, what the heck, man?
He's a twig.
If we'd had video of some of this stuff, you're like, well, we got that same thing. Wow, man, I thought that was a movie. We thought you guys were filming a movie. No, none of that stuff was supposed to happen. It just did.
I was running down the 5 freeway southbound.
Why were you running on the freeway, Adam?
On the freeway, on the shoulder, so on the number 5 lane, but on the shoulder, running opposite traffic. So the cars are going, gangster. 417. I'm 417 running down the freeway because you
don't see that every day. Can you imagine people on the freeway? Look at that cop.
You know this because you know the park. What's the name of the park?
What city were you in?
It's Barrio.
Oh, Hermosillo Park.
Well, you know the one that goes along the freeway. There's one that goes right through the freeway.
Oh, you're the Park Village.
Yes.
Yes.
So the everybody knows the freeway. They're solid, but they have those wood doors where you can jump in and out of. Yeah. Well, the gangsters were doing is they would do something in the neighborhood. They would jump up on the freeway and they would run through and come out another door and be in another area
the neighborhood,
to get away. To get away. So that's what they're doing. But I didn't know. So he jumps in and I jump in. Now we're on the freeway, we're running, everybody's honking and everything. I said, this must be like a movie or something. But I'm 417 the whole time. You know, when you're chasing something. I don't know about you, but when I chase somebody, my gun was out. It's like part of my hand. Mm-hmm. I'll never chase somebody barehanded.
It's funny, you never AD'd either.
Never, ever.
Me either.
So another one of those people on the freeway, what the hell's going on?
Can you imagine that? Like, hey, look, Mom.
417 is have your gun out. So I'm not going to wait.
No, at that point, no. Well, you don't know when he's going to stop or fire over his shoulder.
Standard issue foot pursuit. I don't know about what you're talking about. My gun was out when I chased them. When I chased anyone, my gun was out. I never ran I'm going to run with my fist like this. It just never happened.
We did that all the time after Jerry was killed in Hawaiian Gardens because a lot of times we were riding 4 deep with Larry Knott, with Linwood Larry. And I remember one time he got locked in the car. Everybody jumps. Larry,
I remember
was in the back seat.
and no one punched the button.
Eric was driving. I was in the front seat. And I think we had Brian Richardson in the back with him, or either that or Ed Garnica, one or the other. Anyway, and we all get out and run. And Larry's not running anywhere. Larry's just going to set it up, right? He's just going to set up a containment and all that. But he goes to slide out the same door as Ed, and Ed thinks he's going to get out. Why he did that, I don't know. He could have went out his door. His door shuts.
You can't open the doors from the inside.
No, it's a jail. So, whenever we did that, it was always, you always put your foot in the door so it wouldn't shut. But when he was sliding out the same way, and his door shut, and then Ed shut the door thinking he was going out his own door. So now we come back and Larry's in the car like this. You bunch of pirates, you left me in the car by myself. I was dying. I'm like, Larry, what are you doing in the back seat? You sons of bitches, you left me in the car.
The Keystone Cop shit, getting in the car. That shit's funny. I got spun around by Ruben Nava. And Ruben, if you ever watch this, you ass. Everybody jumps in the car. Deputy involved in a fight. So everybody jumps in the car. And I'm getting in the back seat, and he takes off. I had 1 foot in, and boom, it spins me around. It just spins me around, and he's like mad at me. I go, dude, you gotta wait for me to get in the damn car. We're all in the car like in a split second, but he was just.
I'm surprised we all didn't kill each other.
Oh, we came close.
I was telling Melinda the other day, so something popped up on my phone. Remember the show Reno 911?
They filmed it at Carson.
We were at Carson. I was at Carson Gate when they filmed it, and one day. It was a Saturday, and they were doing some finishing on whatever season or whatever, and they were in the parking lot right outside of. You and I rebuilt the book. Remember the booking area, all the stuff we did there. Right outside the door to go into the station, where the briefing room was, and right outside where the booking door was. Right, they were doing stuff right by those 2 doors. But nobody had ever told them, hey, if there's an emergency, you're going to hear it on the speaker go deet deet deet. Attention, Carson units. 1 SAM 2 is in a fight, whatever, and get out of the way. Whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing. They don't know that. So they're in the parking lot, standing in the parking lot being filmed. And of course, the whole station empties. There's guys in the parking lot in their cars, throwing their war bags in their cars for their shift and all that. Next thing you know what happens next? The whole world's rolling, right? Gone. Well, the black gentleman that's on the show, he's standing there thinking, what the hell's going on? And they almost hit him. The gates open and he goes flying by. He's like, whoa, and then whoa. And then, of course, and everybody came back. They had to have a powwow. Like, hey, they had to teach them. Hey, these are a couple radio codes you might want to know. And just get out of the way. We'll retake the take. But those poor guys, they were scared. They're like, I don't know if we want to take it filming anymore in the parking lot.
I was over there by the pumps, and he was out there with the other guy with the little shorts.
Those guys were funny, man.
And then, of course, we walk by them. They're cool. They're always really cool.
They were funny.
And I was getting in the car, and he goes, "I'll be safe out there, Dept." All right, no problem. Thank you. I wanted to laugh because he had those little baby shorts on. He wore.
Those guys, man. It was funny.
But they were cool. They would take over the briefing room when you'd see them. They're always cool. Never had a problem with those.
I remember he showed up at a briefing. After that happened, the big black guy. They all did, but the black guy came in. He wasn't dressed out in his outfit yet for the show, but he's like, "I thank you so much for what you guys do, but please don't run over me again." He's like, "That hurt. I got hit by a mirror or something. I don't know what hit me, but that hurt."
When all hell breaks, deputy involved or something, fight, shooting, the parking lot's empty, man. And then you see guys running out of the locker room in shorts and a T-shirt, and they're grabbing their
guys
bag.
are going home.
Yeah.
And what are you doing? You're in your, like, I'm dressed today. You're like, what are you doing here? And they got their gun.
They're 2-inch. They're 2-inch.
What are you doing? Well, I heard that so-and-so got shot. Oh, man, yeah. Well, that's what happened with Brant. We talked about this when Jerry was shot. He was in the restroom. When he came out, everybody was gone. He didn't have a car. He did nothing. He had nothing.
All hell breaks loose, and you drive like madmen to get there. That's why we talked about accidents, because guys have killed. We've had guys killed crashing into each other.
Yeah.
2 different intersections smashed.
Well, that's why they put out where you're responding from, too.
You're supposed to give direction of travel.
I remember there was a pursuit and then a fight, post-pursuit in Norwalk, and I was working the net team at the time. I was there early because I had court, and remember Bill Toussaint?
Yeah.
Was a motorcycle cop, but he was at SCB for years. And then when he left SCB, our SWAT team, he was a motor cop in Norwalk. And it was right at 5 points. The pursuit ended, and the guy ran into the shopping area there at 5 points. And there was a fight, and there was 2 guys, 1 deputy against 2 guys. And so we're all rolling to that from the station. I was just pulling back into the getting ready to pull into the parking lot at Norwalk coming from court. And I just flipped a bitch, as we say, and took off back down Civic Center, down San Antonio to head towards 5 points, and rolling code. But I was by myself, and Bill Toussaint was in front of me, on his motor. He was day shift motor in Norwalk, and that guy. People are like, oh, it's just a motor cop. That guy's experience level was way up here, and somebody. Don't ask me how they didn't hear all the lights. I mean, the whole line of cars coming to that fight there's at least 10 coming under the 5 freeway and going down San Antonio. And Bill, somebody almost hit him. They came out of what I thought you were mentioning earlier, coming out of the sports complex across San Antonio. Well, there was nobody coming northbound, so they came across. And it almost looked like they tried to hit Bill on the bike. So Bill's all the way in the left-hand lane, like he should have been. And they came through, and Bill swerved to miss him because the guy almost hit him. And then he almost lost control of the bike. He kept control of the bike, and he came over I almost hit him. He came over in front of me and he didn't know I was right there, but I was behind him, and I saw it coming, so I moved over. And when he did that, I actually went up thank God, they had taken all the trees off of San Antonio because they were redoing that area.
I remember when they did that.
They bought that big corner, and that the city was going to, I don't remember, with a youth center or something, but it was nothing
a senior
there.
Center.
Yeah, there was nothing there. They were built, there was nothing started yet.
Yeah.
But they took all the trees out.
Yeah.
I went up on the curb to avoid Bill. And because that happens, right? Things happen like that, especially when you're rolling like that. And later, when it all came said and done, no big deal. No harm, no foul. Bill made it there. Everybody made it there. No big deal. And later, it wasn't even when we stopped and took the 2 guys into custody and all that stuff. I took one back. Somebody else took someone else back. It was like later that day when I was with my team, the net team, we were going to lunch or whatever we were doing, dinner. Bill showed up and he was in his civvies and he bought the entire table of food. And I said, Bill, you don't have to do that. And he goes, you know what, Dan? I'm going to buy you guys food because I like what you guys do out here. But if it hadn't been for your quick thinking, I wouldn't have been able to buy anybody food. You would have killed me. I would have caused you to kill me because of what I did. And I'm like, wow, well, you don't have to buy me food. But that kind of stuff happens. I mean, Bill was, Bill.
All the time, man.
Bill was a good man. He had a lot of experience, and he recognized that he trying to miss something. He almost took both of us out.
Happens all the time. The driving is crazy.
Well, the driving almost killed me. That's most deputies get hurt by in their vehicle than they do from anything else.
Most cops' deaths are from driving and domestic.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is. But yeah, that's a good dude, good guy.
Yeah, great guy.
I just really would never get on a motor, man. Those guys are crazy. That's too much.
Yeah,
and I ride bikes.
Like, yeah,
no way.
I mean, he had been in multiple crashes. That guy. He got in multiple shootings with this little sawed-off shotgun from his motorcycle. He was always, you know why? Because he was always the first one there.
You get through traffic.
Yeah, he was always the first. Attention, new order units. We got this guy doing whatever. He gets there. Hey, stop! No! Boom! I shot him. He's down.
Well, yeah. Well, supervision is another thing we're talking. I know we're going back to it, but I wanted to bring it back to one thing. It's like you talked about Larry Knott. I can tell you right now, I don't think anyone would even know how to be a Larry Knott now. Because no one could ever teach him because those guys have been gone so long. But I don't think it's, or a Sal or, Eric, I don't think it's even possible anymore. I don't think that what we had is somebody taught us how to do what we did. I was taught how to work O.S.S. I was taught how to work Get. I was taught how to work Patrol. I was taught how to work the jails. Those people that taught me, that made me want to go to O.S.S. and made me want to do the jobs we did and do all the crazy stuff we did. Because you and I put thousands of people in jail. Mm-hmm. If we're not doing it and no one's teaching, how many people are out there that need to be gone?
And you know what's sad about that is when I talked to Larry the other day, I told him that. I said, there's a lot of guys. You came to this team when we became the task force when Jerry got murdered. And you stepped in. That was a huge step in, and he did not get along with the lieutenant. Mm. And every time the lieutenant tried to check him, Larry checked him back because he wasn't as smart as Larry. People didn't know that Larry was an attorney. He just didn't like being an attorney, so he became a cop. They also didn't know that he was a helicopter pilot, and he crashed a helicopter, broke his back in that crash, but he finished his career. But I told him, I said, it was your guidance through some difficult times. I mean, that's the difficult thing, the way that happened with Jerry and all the stuff, all the other things that happened around then. But it was your guidance that got a lot of guys, we didn't lose ourselves in hunting the monster, because you remember what it was like down there. And he's like, Dan, I said some other nice things that I'll keep private, but he said, thank you for saying that. Nobody's ever said that to me before. Mm. And I said, well, you probably weren't a sergeant like you were for the guys at O.S.S. and Get.
I'm sure guys like him and Liam knew by the work product that we were a result of him. Their supervision, their guidance, and mentorship had to be, because there's no way you don't see as a supervisor your team doing well, and you don't have some pride that.
Oh yeah, he knew.
They're following my guidance, and they're doing the jobs well, and they're safe. That's a big thing, is safe. I had a case where it was an attempt murder, and it was when I was working Pico. And I was trying to find this guy bad because he did some stupid shit. And I couldn't find him because he knew that we were after him, so he started skipping out of where he lived. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to stay where I normally stay. So trying to bed him down was really hard. And I remember I took this one to heart because it had to do with kids and stuff like that, because they were there when he did his stupid shooting.
Some of them are personal.
Yeah, and I work them all, but this one was a little bit more. And when I finally found out where he could be, and it was an apartment building right there on, I forgot the street. Well, anyways, take him to jail. He's there. He's asleep. Woke him up. Took him to jail. No problem. Didn't fight. He was an ex-felon with a gun, attempted murder. The guy who answered the door, though, was probably 400 pounds. Just sloppy.
Yeah.
Just a sloppy, dirty person. Hair was like greasy, like he hadn't showered in years. And so I go and I'm talking to him, and I can see it's a studio, so I can see everything. Push him aside, grab him, do our thing. But on the bed is a girl. She's pretending she's asleep. You can tell she's pretending. So I do all my work, do my search, find a bunch of meth pipes, and then I start doing my workup on him. He's a probation officer
The heavy guy? Wow.
in juvie.
So he wasn't doing his job.
Well, there's a lot more to it. So I started dealing with the girl. She is a 15-year-old runaway out of Whittier. She's pretending to be asleep. So I get her up, pretending whatever. So I go back to the station. This is just all turning all different ways, right? Take her, of course. Take her. Take shithead to jail. Don't take him. There's no crime yet. But I get back to the station and I tell Liam what's up. Liam's my sergeant. I said, this is what I got. He goes, what are you going to do? I go, I'm going to call his supervisor and I'm going to take it all the way to the top. He goes, do it. So I call a supervisor at probation and I said, this is what I got. And he says, well, I got to refer you to somebody. And I thought, whatever, because I'm talking to shithead at the door I'm not going to ignore it. I told him some stuff. We had a talking. And he says, it's not going to matter. Probation doesn't care if we use dope.
Wow.
The last guy that got caught with cocaine, they didn't do anything to him. They don't even care. I said, all right. So I told the guy when he finally called me back, his supervisor calls me up and he says, what do you got? And I told him the story. And he goes, we absolutely will take care of this. I don't know what he's talking about. I had to go to a civil service hearing.
For him?
Yeah, because he got fired.
Got fired, yeah.
And so I'm talking to everybody, and then it came up. I had to testify that he told me that probation doesn't do anything if you use drugs. They just put you in rehab. They just give you a program, and they give you your job back. But then I went into the underage runaway in his bed and the whole bit, and he didn't get his job back. Good. But when I went back to the station, Liam how'd that go? What happened with that? Liam never got into my cases. Only if it was something that he felt was important. Because Liam, he had his things that he was more interested in. Mm-hmm. Everything else autopilot. We knew our shit. We didn't need anybody watching us. But that one, he was always asking me, so what happened to that guy? What happened to that probation officer? What happened to him? And I told him. And when I finished telling him what happened, he goes, at the end result, he goes, outstanding. And Liam never said nothing.
Yeah, those are the ones, man. The ones with the kids that are involved, whether they're runaways or not. It's just like,
a lot of runaways.
They don't go far either.
No, but they get into so much shit so fast. It's like you only ran away last week, and I'm finding you in something that. How did you get here from that? I understand you ran away, maybe whatever reason, because some kids have a good reason to run away. I'm just going to say it. Yeah, I've dealt with that where dad's problem. And I get it, but we try to push them to the right people, social services and the Mark girls. The Mark girls are fantastic. You can't always walk in and say that she's running away because she's just incorrigible. Some kids have an excuse. Yeah, not excuse, a reason.
Yeah, and that's why you started this thing, right? For the people that are doing this job, not on that end. I guess you can try to help those from afar, but on this end, the mental health of what this job does to people.
Yeah, well, that's a big part of it. But I like that we got into actually doing the job because I've been trying to figure out what I'm getting feedback from and how can I address it. And the feedback has been that, what's the daily job? And I think we have a couple of days we did the job so we can talk about it.
Well, is that because people want to go into it? Is that the question?
Relatives. The couple, I've had at least 3 or 4 that are, my nephew wants to, my son wants to, I directed him to this, and it's cool.
If I had to say, if anybody asked me that today, man, it's changed so much. Again, Larry said that. He goes, boy, it's a good thing we're not there.
Well, because we know how we did it, and we would have trouble. But I've said it here: we could do it.
We could, yeah. There's no doubt.
Here's the answer to that is I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because I would be, you're so restricted on what political stuff is going on. It's not law stuff because the laws haven't changed. None of the laws have changed.
No, they're still there. They're like trying to reinvent the wheel. Like, why? It's right there.
They're trying to ignore the laws.
Yeah.
And it's like if it's in the book, I can arrest you for it. The job is now watered down. The idea of what the job is, but the actual job itself hasn't changed one bit.
No, you could still do everything we did. It's the departments that are watering it down because they don't want to deal with it.
But the penal code hasn't changed.
Not at all.
The penal code hasn't changed. Everybody is arrestable for the same things when I was out there. Penal code, the vehicle code, health and safety code haven't changed. I know they reduced sentencing. That's not your point. That has nothing to do with you. We don't deal with sentencing. So if they haven't changed that, and even policies, they can't change policies if they to negate penal code. They try. Remember the juvie thing? Oh, we got to do this because of juvies. Well, that's not a law.
That's not the law. That's because you want to do that. That doesn't mean we have to do
Well,
it.
it's a department policy, but in reality, it's not against the law for me to do. You know, how long, where we sit kids, how we Mirandize them. There's no law that says I can't do this.
What was the best one when we had, remember we said you knew who your sergeants were on shift and you knew what you could or couldn't do or what they didn't like to do, whatever. Same thing at O.S.S. You knew who your lieutenant was, or maybe you had a different lieutenant this week because your guy's on vacation, whatever. And they wanted you to run all that stuff by your team sergeant lieutenant before you got a warrant signed.
Yeah.
One way to get around that is just go get it signed.
Yeah.
We don't need any of you people.
No.
Because once the judge signs it, it doesn't matter what you say. It's his now. He wants that warrant served.
Well, if you want to stay on the team, you have to do what your lieutenant says. But in reality, you don't have to do some things that are just personal preference to certain people.
You can only get away with that a few times before.
You have to work in the parameters of who holds the strings on whether you keep your job or not your job, but your position. You're in being in that unit. They can move you in a minute because of I just don't like you.
I did that once.
Once I did it. I did it a few times.
I did it with. Remember the Friday missions we did without saying his name? Mm-hmm. Did it to him.
We did it too.
You're gonna let me read it? Why? It's signed. Who signed it? Well, the judge did. Oh my God, he lost his mind.
Dan, I thought you were gonna lose a stripe on that one, but you survived.
Hey, you know what? You don't make it so difficult to get something done.
Or when you called me that one time and said, "Hey, I'm going to this unit," I said,
You set me up.
I did not set you up. I didn't tell you anything.
I didn't know.
You didn't know. I helped you after. No, I helped you with information. I didn't tell you what to do.
I remember when I put my hat, they were like, "Yes," right? And then when I pulled it back, they're like, "No." Like, what's the matter?
What's the first thing he said? Did you talk to Adam?
It was Rifkin. Rifkin said, "Did you talk to Adam?" No. Why? Why would you ask me that? Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, Bob, he did talk to me, and I set him straight.
That was funny.
Well, brother, got anything going on? Anything new besides art, drawing, painting?
That's it. Just doing a couple things. That's it.
Well,
you don't put me to work anymore, so.
Well, he did my art here, and it came out great. I love it.
Oh, you did that.
No, the actual character, though.
Oh.
Came out badass.
That's cool. I like the way you've used, I guess, AI or whatever to animate it. To have it walk through the beginning of your show.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Made him move. Make him
That's
dance
cool.
and make him twerk next time.
It's a good thing it wasn't me. Good thing you didn't make me move. Jeez Louise.
Well, come on back after we go on our cruise.
Yeah, let's do that. That's the only thing going on. Oh, can't wait to do that.
Someday, hopefully, in the near future, far future.
It'll happen. We'll make it happen.
We'll keep talking about it, but, things got to work out.
Yeah.
But come back and visit me.
I will. Anytime.
All right, good to see you, brother.
See you.